Bryce Canyon is a secluded cove of nature in southern Utah, filled with magnificent forests and spectacular wildlife. But it is the amphitheater of amazing rock spires and impossible formations of Bryce that make it stand out as being completely unique, the only one of its kind to be found in the entirety of nature. Hidden among the ponderosa pines of the Paunsaugunt Plateau stands historic Bryce Canyon Lodge. The lodge first opened its doors in 1925 to wealthy patrons of Union Pacific Railroad's Loop Tour. From the train station in Cedar City, Utah, tourists traveled by open-air buses to Zion, North Rim of the Grand Canyon, Bryce, and Cedar Breaks. All the lodges on the tour were designed by the legendary architect Gilbert Stanley Underwood. As a principal, Underwood always wanted the lodges he designed to match the landscape around them and blend them into their natural environment.
So what Gilbert Stanley Underwood used for inspiration was those pine branches, those boughs that would wave in the wind. And he mimicked that in that undulating pattern that you see in the roof shingles on top of the lodge.
You can walk in the front doors and be greeted by the friendly lodge staff just as visitors could when the lodge first opened. Stay a night or two in one of the historic deluxe cabins. Enjoy a gourmet meal in the dining room. And remember that this lodge has a proud history of entertainment.
Music and energy was very much a part of this lodge. Whenever visitors arrived, all the employees would come out onto the patio and they'd wave and they'd sing and they'd welcome you in. And then again when you left, they would all come out to the patio and they'd wave and sing and say goodbye. And then in the auditorium, every night there was musical shows, variety shows. There was just all kinds of life and energy.
Though musical performances aren't as common now as they once were, a new tradition of excellence has become part of the auditorium's legacy. Connoisseurs of ranger programs agree that Bryce's are among the best in the nation. From May through October, Bryce Canyon's park rangers offer evening programs about geology, astronomy, wildlife, and of course, history.
What's wonderful about experiencing Bryce Canyon Lodge is you can have the same experience that your grandparents or your great-grandparents might have had. Since the 1920s, very little has changed on the inside of the lodge. When you walk inside, you can see those historic chandeliers or the old big stone fireplaces that have warmed the lobby and the auditorium and the dining room for decades. You can sit out on the porch and enjoy the beautiful sun and clean mountain air the same way they would have back in the 1930s. Everything has stayed the same, so you have a historic experience when you come to Bryce Canyon Lodge.
To truly experience Bryce, hike out into the amphitheater of hoodoos and see them up close. From the lodge porch, you can connect to the Queen's Garden and Navajo Loop, heralded by visitors from around the globe as the single best 3-mile hike in the world. Bryce Canyon Lodge is the hub of a small but enthralling and intricate national park. Its preservation and historic quality remind you of times gone by, and it places you right in the heart of this magnificent park, which makes visiting Bryce Canyon a timeless experience that you can enjoy time and again.